Do I have everybody's attention now?
This is it, Josh! This is it!
Hey, hey, hey! Wednesday, and you know what that means? It means it's a WrestlePoint review. Tonight we're doing Raw and Dynamite, like always. And oh boy, we have some opinions. We have some hot takes. I have a hot take banner. Finally, look at that. So when a hot take comes, so you be warned. When a hot take comes, well, there you go. You be warned. So we'll start off with Raw. Eric, you take it from there.
So Raw's actually so we've been looking for ways to cut down on our broadcast time, and this week's Raw really helped out. So we've kind of all been in agreement that this week's Raw was pretty bad. But I'm going to start out by saying it had a lot of potential because when you think about it, since there was tag team turmoil and it was announced as 7 teams, that inherently means you're going to get a lot more wrestling than on a typical Raw, which is great. So I was really looking forward to it. But the unfortunate part is the way you can't capitalize on that potential unless, in this case, you have a deep tag team division, which Raw does not. So, the 7 teams that were announced were New Day, the Viking Raiders, Jinder Mahal and Veer, Lucha House Party, Mason T-Bar, Mustafa Ali, and Mansoor, and then AJ Styles and Hamas. Those were the 7 teams that were advertised. And just based on those 7, there's only 2 credible teams, AJ and Hamas and New Day. So that immediately means that the other, anytime the other 5 are in the ring, it doesn't matter. And so to actually start with the show, so RK Bro has their opening segment.
Can I cut you off real quick? Dom, we're not live on Facebook. I don't see it.
Okay, 1 second.
Sorry, Eric, I don't know.
All good. Gives me a chance to gather my thoughts a little bit.
1, 2, 3.
I say
go ahead.
All right, yeah. So obviously the show starts with RK Bro coming out, and they kind of billboard what's going to be happening. And Matt, I swear, every time Matt Riddle talks, it just gets more and more obnoxious to me. And I think his gimmick is obviously a stoner gimmick, but his promos are being written by someone that's clearly never been high before because he's not talking like a stoner. He's talking like a 5-year-old. Again, I say it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So then Lashley and MVP come out, and they're griping over Randy laying out Lashley last week to close the show. And they have a little war of words that leads to Randy's talking about being a double champion and people aspiring to be a double champion, which leads to him challenging Lashley for the WWE Championship, which I thought was awesome. And that I don't know if it was made official during this segment, but it was made official at some point. And I'm really with that. I think that's going to be an awesome match. And then that led to MVP and Lashley saying, all this talk about double champs gives me an idea. And then they close the segment by saying, we're going to go get ourselves added into that tag team turmoil match, which you know they're going to. It wasn't said in the moment, but they're going to get added, which makes it 8 teams and all of a sudden a 3rd credible team. But still, that means there's 5 teams that we don't care about. And that gets us into the first match. The first match was the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. And this is going to be a theme for me.
Wait, my bad. I didn't even put the thing down. There you go.
It's all good. So the big theme for me, and why I don't have much to say for Raw, is since New Day started the match, and they're one of the 3 teams that are the only teams that can win this thing, you knew they were going to win this match. So I didn't pay too much attention. This match, if these 2 teams could get a full-length match, like a proper 10 to 12-minute match, I'm sure it'd be great because these are both 2 really good teams. But in this context, we knew the New Day was going to win, and they did. Next team that comes out, Jinder Mahal and Veer. Again, an obvious winner. New Day is not going to lose this one. This one, thankfully, went a little bit shorter, but again, it was a squash. And then, there's no reason to watch it. And even, like I said last time I watched Veer that I like Veer, we didn't get that much Veer in this match, so I had no reason to really watch this. Then out comes Lucha House Party, same thing. We know New Day's going to win. That happened. This was the most fun, though, because the Lucha stuff, the high spots, is fun. Then out comes Mason T-Bar. Again, obvious winners. This is the 4th match, and there's been no real reason to pay attention because you know exactly what's going to happen. The big thing for this was after the match, after New Day gets the pin, there's a beatdown. And I think this is good because the beatdown, you're getting heat. You're getting heat for a team that you're not pushing, and I think Dominik Dijakovic deserves a lot better than this. But the beatdown's fine. I have no problem with it. You got to throw a wrench in there at some points. But then Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville come out and say, we're going to give them some time to recover, and we're going to restart this match later. And in my opinion, that was the stupidest thing they could have done because it negates everything about the beatdown. The point of the beatdown is so that New Day is facing longer odds and you can get more behind them as the baby faces. But when you postpone the match, it just completely negates the whole thing. So I think they really ruined that angle. And that was, I guess we can call that Tag Team Turmoil Part 1, the first 4 matches. What do you guys think?
Let me go. First off, I'm wearing this hat just because the Buccaneers start tomorrow. So let's go. So I'm gonna take it off now because I feel like kind of a fool. But first off, Dominik Dijakovic is from my hometown, so I want him to get more love.
Wait, he's from your hometown? I thought he was foreign.
No, he's from Worcester. Worcester. If you ever hear the intro, I'll say, well, in NXT, because I don't know, it's from Worcester, Massachusetts, so whatever. So I can't really crap on this too much because I've been shitting on WWE for their tag team booking for months, and they're actually trying to establish something, but it's so obvious the New Day is gonna go the distance for the most part. I was really rooting for Mansoor and Ali, but we'll get to that later. But I just don't understand. If they were gonna end up having Lashley MVP join anyways, they should have just added them into the match. I don't see the reason for the attack. Because, it doesn't really, I get you want to build heat a little bit, but, that's not building any heat because no one really cares because they're oh, whatever. They're in the match now. I also would rather them go the distance than stop and, an hour after and then continue in the later half of the show. I would have just had it all done once. It would have been a lot cooler, and it would have made – so, when Kofi did the gauntlet and the Kofi Mania started, you had Kofi. Kofi didn't take a break in between. He went all the way through, which I feel that builds up baby faces. You want the New Day is obviously over, but I don't know. I would have liked to see Mansoor and Ali start the match and maybe build more chemistry, like how Ali's trying to play dirty and Mansoor's the good guy, but eventually, as they go match to match, then Mansoor is going to have to be we're not going to be able to win unless I become a heel, or the other way for Ali. But I didn't mind the first half. The only thing I really didn't like was the attack with Lashley and MVP.
All right, I'll go. My favorite part of the whole show was the first few minutes. I really liked it.
That was a good segment, yeah.
I really liked that segment of highlighting the tag teams. What I give them that WWE and particularly Raw are trying with the tag team division. They do care. Or they wouldn't have so many minutes for a tag team. I mean, they have the tag team champions basically main event Raw every week. So they do care. They do care. It's just they don't have enough talent, I guess. Or I don't know.
Talent.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to say talent because that's disrespectful to the wrestlers, but
they just haven't put the time into the division to where people really care. People don't really care about anyone other than the top 3.
Yeah.
They also do it every couple months. Every couple months they put a tag team turmoil or something like this into it, and then you don't hear from all the rest of the teams for weeks, so it builds nothing eventually.
Yeah, but I'm gonna echo what you guys said. Dominik Dijakovic deserves more. I wish him and Keith Lee would link up. The Monstars from PWG. That is a great tag team right there. I would have loved to seen it. They have history. I don't know what's going on with Keith Lee, so that's another thing. What's that?
He's limitless.
Ali and Mansoor. I think this is their story, and their storyline is one of the more intriguing things about Raw. It's like a chia pet. You want to see it grow. You hope it doesn't die, but it's like a little project. You hope for the best, but you predict the worst because it's Raw.
Exactly.
I'm surprised the Viking Raiders and New Day went first. I was expecting the Viking Raiders to at least have 1 or 2 wins because I felt like they were getting pushed, especially after such a showcase from last week. I was wrong. And then Cody, with your point about the turmoil, having it all at once. Imagine having it all at once would be maybe an hour. And if a turmoil is good, it's good and it's enjoyable to watch. But if it's bad, that hour is shit. So I feel like I do like them splitting it up because it gave us.
I don't think the matches were terrible.
No, it wasn't. It was okay. Not the matches, but the investment in the story. Like when Kofi Mania had it, we had investment in the story. We don't have. Do we have that much investment on who becomes the next victim to RK Bro? Not as much.
No.
So I think it was smart for them to split it up. But other than that, I enjoy them highlighting the tag team division.
Yeah, so I'm moving right along. So after we get the interruption in the tag team turmoil, we move on to the number one contenders match for the United States Championship. This was Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. And here was my thing going into it. So just to give a couple words on the match right out of the gate, it was a good match. I think I'm trying to think if anything really on Raw was, as far as a match is concerned, if any match was better than this. Off the top of my head, I don't really think so. My thing is we've seen these guys now. We've seen Drew and Sheamus, I think, 2 weeks in a row now. And we also got them quite a few times earlier in the year. They fought at Fastlane. They had a prolonged feud where we saw them a couple other times on Raw earlier in the year. So it was hard for me to get into it because of how many times I've seen them. But what got me was I thought Drew was going to win. Like 100% I thought Drew was going to win this match. But they surprised me with Sheamus going over. Pleasantly, not pleasantly, because obviously you guys know that I'm sick of Drew. I know, Cody, you're sick of Drew. So I know that this was good for us to see Drew lose. But at the same time, now we have another rematch. We just saw Sheamus and Damian Priest at SummerSlam. We're going to get that match again. But this was a solid match. These guys, obviously, they've worked together a lot. They've got great chemistry. So I don't have really much to complain about as far as what actually happened in between the ropes, other than I think Drew pulling off the mask was, I don't want to say dumb, but I think it was just like, it already, like, we've seen it, and like it was really cool at SummerSlam. I don't see why I don't want it to become a thing where you just pull Sheamus' mask off in every match. And then another thing that bugged me was just one line from the announcers. Obviously Sheamus had that one spot where he was doing the 3-2-1 to mock Drew, and I forget which announcer, but I think it was Byron Saxton, because he's an idiot. I could believe him saying, he was like, Sheamus' ego is getting the best of him, counting down. It's like, Drew counts down every match. Why don't you talk about his ego when he does the same exact thing? So I don't know, it's just the inconsistencies with the announcings, and it's just some stupid thing. But anyway, overall, a solid match, probably the best match on Raw. Unlikely finish, uninspiring program to follow. What do you guys think?
I consider it like Drew McIntyre and Sheamus like a lesser version of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like, they always have good matches against each other, but sometimes you just get sick of seeing the same thing over and over. And that's how I feel. Like, I don't want Drew to go. Honestly, I don't want Drew in the title picture at all, but I think I would have rather seen Drew win and face Damian Priest, because that's really a fresh matchup. We haven't seen them two one-on-one, I don't think. But now we're getting the same match from SummerSlam. We know who's going to win. I don't know. Maybe Dom will pick Sheamus again in his prediction. But I just don't understand it. Like, there's so many other people that could fight for this. I just hate the booking of, like, Damian Priest. I feel like they booked him all right so far. But, like, his competition is, like, if he's going to just fight Sheamus and Drew McIntyre until the draft, like, what's the point of being invested in him?
Making me think of like the mid-card title on Raw makes me also a little bit think about the SmackDown mid-card title, and I'm like, well, as much as we praise Raw, as much as we praise SmackDown, the mid-card title scene is not very good over there. But Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they have a lot of history, they have a lot of chemistry. They're gonna perform a good match. Like Cody said, I don't think it was good for Sheamus to win, even though I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. Drew is probably going to SmackDown. I think that's written on the wall, unless it's scrubbed away by a janitor. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good match. I wish they would have put somebody else against Damian Priest, somebody like lower card, maybe like a Miz even. Actually, Miz feuded with him, so maybe not him. Who is another mid-card guy on Raw?
I would have loved, like, I know this name hasn't been around in a while. I would have loved Cedric Alexander versus Damian Priest.
He's not even a mid-card anymore.
I'm going to talk about Cedric Alexander later on in the review.
Yeah, he's not even a mid-card anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so that was match. We had a quick... did I cut you off, Tom?
No, we're good.
No, I'm done.
Okay. So there's a really quick Damian Priest interview backstage after the match, and this kind of goes into my thing. So Cody, you said you like how he's been booked. I kind of don't like how he's been booked since he won the title, because I think you guys know my gripe about like the generic pandering mid-card babyface. They're kind of doing that with him, and this promo was no different. They say, what do you think of that match? You know who your opponent is. He should have just scalded Sheamus and say, I'm going to kick your fucking ass, man. You have no chance. But instead, he's like, everything that he says just kind of revolves around like he's just so still just happy to be there. He's like, that was a fight. That was so cool. It's like, dude, we get it. You're happy to be there and you're a champion. Just like, but I don't know. He's kind of just being booked in the promo sense, like every mid-card champion that gets really stale really quick. So, I mean, he hasn't lost his momentum yet. I'm just worried that's where it's heading with things like this, because I feel like we've seen this mid-card champion for the past like 3 or 4 years, and no mid-card champion's been good for a long time. And they're booking him the exact same way.
I thought Sheamus was a pretty good champion.
Sheamus was a good mid-card
champion. I should amend every.
But he was a heel though.
Every mid-card babyface champion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's all I have to say on that.
I have nothing.
So then we get a really quick. So we have a tag team championship contenders match. Say that 3 times fast coming up. But first we had a quick backstage interview with Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley, which I skipped because thankfully I watched this on Tuesday, so I got to fast forward the things I didn't want to see. So every time Nikki Ash opened her mouth, I fast forwarded. But we get this championship contenders match: Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley versus Natalya and Tamina. And did I not call this the Raw after SummerSlam, that this is what they're going to do with Nikki Ash and Rhea?
Yeah, I think I said that.
Hey, honestly, that's not a hot take, though.
It was obvious. It wasn't even a hot take. It was just obvious. Here's the thing. This match sucked. This match was so stupid. Like, Natalya and Tamina are already bad champions. They're already belts that mean nothing. For years haven't been made to. I think ever since Sasha and Bayley dropped the titles, I think these have been complete afterthoughts in every sense of the words. They've meant nothing for a long time. And then the match itself was bad. Rhea tried her best, but she couldn't carry it because she's in there with Nikki Ash can work, but not like this. I hate everything she does in the ring. They don't even have good tag team chemistry. Their double team moves are literally just Rhea picking her up and then hitting her opponents with Nikki. That's not chemistry. That's smoke and mirrors to disguise the fact that we don't have chemistry. The only good thing I will say is I actually did really like the finish of this match. Natalya going for the sharpshooter, and while she's trying to hook the legs, they do a blind. Nikki gets a blind tag to Rhea, and Rhea comes from behind, hits the riptide. I really liked that finish, but that's about the only good thing I can say about this. Everything else I thought was terrible, all the way up until after the match. The way that they posed was Nikki jumping into Rhea's arms, and every time she talks and every time she interacts with Rhea, she's being presented like Rhea Ripley's pet dog, and it's disgusting, and I hate it. And I hate the fact that they're going to be champions. I like Rhea being a champion. I hate Nikki Ash being a champion. What do you guys think of this?
Are you that upset?
I didn't watch this. But I can say the last 4 times that the Natalya and Tamina have been on TV, they've lost. So I'm not.
Are you that upset that Natalya and Tamina are going to lose the championship, Eric?
I'm not necessarily mad that they're going to lose the championship. It's just I don't like. Yeah, I don't like.
These titles shouldn't be a thing.
Honestly, all I have to say about this, I miss Bayley and Sasha. That's all.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. So then, the next segment we had a really quick Moist TV with John Morrison and Carrion Cross. I think this was bad on many levels. First of all, why is John Morrison setting himself up for another squash match? I thought he was going to be involved in a pretty high-profile feud with him and The Miz after they split up. And then also, I don't think Carrion Cross, he's a different type of heel. I think he should be the type of heel, since he's a monster, he should be the type of heel that doesn't talk much and just gets in the ring and kicks some ass. I think if you're going to have him talk, that's why Scarlett Bordeaux was with him. So I think if you're going to have there be any words with Carrion Cross, he needs to have Scarlett Bordeaux back. So pretty much all the interview is Carrion Cross saying, hey, John, I'm about to kick your ass. And then they have a match, John Morrison versus Carrion Cross. John Morrison not only gets the jobber entrance, but he also gets squashed again. And she's like, what is going on here? What's going to happen when Miz comes back? Are we still going to be on John Morrison's side? He just keeps getting squashed. They're not building anything with him. Like, it's hard to even have sympathy for him because these are matches that he's kind of making for himself. So he's just coming off as stupid. The only cool thing about this match was there's a really cool spot where Carrion Cross belly to belly suplexed him over the ring post to the floor. I thought that was really cool. Everything else was bad. What do you think?
I go for
Carrion Cross is bad. Everything is bad. Carrion Cross sucks. That's all
sucks.
I have.
Cody put it in good words, I would say. Carrying Cross, it's really sad what happened with him, and he was great in NXT. Like I think last week I showed my mom. Cody, do you know? Like,
it's great.
His entrance was good. His okay, I'll say this.
Yeah. The way they booked him was good. Like
his presentation was good.
The only reason he was like so good is because there's so many great wrestlers around him.
I'll say this: his presentation was good. That's what I'll say. It's hard to remember that John Morrison used to be a main event guy for other companies. Now look at this. That is so sad. I'm. You know what? 1 second. Hot take warning. Oh. I should need to put the banner away. Hot take warning.
All right, I can't wait for this.
Okay, hear me out. Miz is gonna come back. Well, maybe it's more a prediction thing. Miz is gonna come back and squash John Morrison.
That's a hot take. So
that's a very hot take.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But
yeah,
it's a hot take, but I feel like that's gonna happen.
Like Morrison's getting squashed by like monsters, like Omos and Karrion Kross.
Okay, I don't think it's gonna be like dominant monster like squash, but I think it's gonna be something like a roll-up pin. That's a squash.
That's not a squash.
Okay, it's gonna be a quick match. It's gonna be a ups. I don't know.
You think he's gonna win quick and cheap?
I think Miz is gonna come back. The squashes are gonna play into the storyline, and it's gonna be a short feud. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So
anything else on this match?
I guess we already talked about the match. Nothing significant.
Moving right along. This next match was the match I was looking forward to the most on this episode. It was for the Raw Women's Championship. It was Nia Jax versus Charlotte Flair. After the masterpiece. Dom, you misspelled her name, but anyway.
I did not. You misspelled the name. I'm just.
Is that what I put in the thing?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. Well then, okay, my bad. But anyway, so yeah, after the masterpiece we got last week, and Cody's pro.
I refuse to talk about that.
Okay.
Before the match, we get Shayna Baszler cutting a promo that was really stupid. They're doing a dissension angle between Shayna and Nia. So they had her cut the same promo that Nia did before her match last week against Rhea Ripley. But hers was really dumb because her quote was, "The question here is, will my tag team partner become champ or will she choke?" As if there's any other option when you're in a match. You either win or you lose. So that was really stupid to me, as was the whole promo. Then the match starts. The match starts and we get like 10 seconds of beautiful, sloppy, nonsense fighting, just like what made the last match so memorable. And then it got stupid because then they actually tried to have a wrestling match, which meant Nia had to wrestle. And, Charlotte tried to leave. She tried to take the belt and leave. She goes back in the ring. And, then it was just a Nia Jax match. And Nia can't wrestle. Even someone as good as... And she can't be led. Someone as good as Charlotte. She couldn't lead her to make this good. The match was quick, thankfully. It was a stupid distraction at the end. Here's what I don't understand. So Nia puts Charlotte on the top rope to give her a move. And Shayna just jumps up on the apron, and Nia just completely turns away from Charlotte and starts arguing with her, gets hit with natural selection 1, 2, 3. Why are these people so easily distracted? That was
Nia Jax.
That's her
fucking idiot.
That's her corner woman on that. It's not like that was Charlotte's corner woman on the apron going out to distract her. That was Nia's corner woman. So I don't know why she wouldn't just assume that she's helping her. But anyway,
this is what I'm thinking.
They're gonna split.
They're splitting it. I'm predicting it. I'm happy about it. Shayna Baszler needs to go back to what she was before the pandemic. I think I say it every Raw. Like, it's a shame what they do to some of these wrestlers.
Yeah, so those who are heading to Splitsville, who cares? Charlotte wins, obviously, and then we get the post. So it was a quick match, which meant that this was never about the match. This was about the post-match angle. Alexa Bliss is reintroduced into the feud. She comes up on the screen. She says, "I want to tell you something. Come here." And Charlotte's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. You come here." And then the lights go out. She appears in the ring. Pretty much says she wants a title match. We're going to get a title match that I don't want, and I have a bad feeling Alexa's going to win. And that was that. I don't think I need to.
Got it.
I don't think I need to ask Cody what he thought because he's not going to talk about Nia Jax.
He's not.
I'll say something about the Alexa thing. I have a hot take prediction.
Nia's going to have a bad match.
Okay,
No.
1 second.
Hot take.
Warning.
The Alexa and Charlotte match at Extreme Rules is going to be a cinematic match, and it's going to be good.
Oh, that's a good prediction, though.
I could say, yeah. What you think it's probably going to be called like an Alexa's Playground match or something?
Something like that, yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. What do you think, Dom?
It's whatever.
I like it. So the next match,
if you guys know, we're trying to get through Raw quick because I just don't care.
I feel like we're going quick, but since it's a 3-hour show, there's just so much shit to talk about that it actually takes up some time. But anyway,
we're almost done.
Yeah, the next match was a 24/7 title match, Reggie versus Akira Tozawa, which I will never complain about Reggie on my TV screen. The only thing I'm going to say is, does scheduling a 24/7 title match not completely defeat the premise of the 24/7 title that it's going to be?
It's a match anyway. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And it wasn't even really a match. Reggie just did. It was the same thing that Reggie does when he does his flips and shit, except this time it was in the ring, and it did end with Reggie getting a pin. And then the locker room comes out, and this is where I said I was going to mention Cedric Alexander, because I wrote in my notes, poor Cedric Alexander. A few months ago, he was a tag team champion, part of the Hurt Business, featured weekly TV, in the main event. Whether he wasn't necessarily wrestling the main event, but he was out there during the main event. And now he's in Same with Shelton Benjamin. They're both chasing after the 24/7 title. Such talented guys. You
know what's a big problem?
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's job.
Dude, that too.
Jeff Hardy. I watched this. Shout out to a YouTube channel called Wrestling GIFs. Jeff Hardy used to be the man when I grew up. I'm talking about the most popular guy on the roster. Outsold John Cena. And I'm telling you, people still like Jeff Hardy. He's still gonna get a pop. I don't know why they just don't put him in a small feud with. Here you go, Damian Priest. That's the name. There we go. Just have him be important, give him his last 2 Raw. He's obviously not gonna re-sign when his contract is up. I don't understand.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. He actually did a sign an extension.
He did when?
Last year, yeah.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I'm gonna say this.
Last year was booked better though.
Tom, don't get mad at me when I say this.
Oh no.
I don't think Jeff Hardy can wrestle anymore.
Better than some people who get few
24/7. So most that's your favorite thing on Raw. And
this is what I want. My 24/7 title. I just want Tozawa, Reggie, and R-Truth running around the whole fucking time. I don't care about anybody else joining. To be honest, maybe Drew Gulak. I don't know if he's still with the company. He was pretty good with.
Jeff Hardy is I don't think Drew Gulak is, but Jeff Hardy's like what he was known for back then was being crazy, but I don't think he can be crazy anymore. He's old now, so for the most, I don't think he can really do anymore. But that's not saying he would be perfect for the SmackDown Intercontinental title picture.
Yes, because he did the mid-card SmackDown last year. I remember Clash of Champions, him, Sammy, and AJ, if I remember.
Yeah.
Great match, great feud. I don't know, Jeff Hardy can still contribute something to your roster. You want pops, you want ratings, you want merch sales. Just give him a damn t-shirt.
Jeff Hardy's a perfect NXT wrestler.
There we go. Just put him somewhere. People like him. People, you're talking about nostalgia. Jeff Hardy, for our demographic, is nostalgia. I don't know, for me speaking at least, I don't know about you guys, but when I grew up watching wrestling, when I got into wrestling, Jeff Hardy was the top babyface along with John Cena. If John Cena gets that treatment, Jeff Hardy should at least get some of that treatment, at least some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, moving right along. We'll pick up some time with this next segment. Dewdrop has a back. I actually don't even know if I gave you a banner for this, Dom, because I only plan on talking for 10 seconds. Dewdrop has a backstage interview, and I didn't care. Next, so you can flash. If you guys have something to say, you can flash the banner.
No,
I didn't even see it. So
no.
Yeah, it's dumb. That feud that nobody cares about is still going on. Then I'm gonna call this the main event because we're back to tag team turmoil to end the show. Even though there were technically 3 different matches, I'm just gonna call this the main event. So we get the New Day back out against Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. Again, same thing I said at the beginning. Even though Ali and Mansoor are talented, we know who's going to win this match. I didn't pay attention. New Day won pretty quickly. Cody, you said you wanted to talk about Ali and Mansoor, so you can go ahead.
I just think their dynamic is just so interesting to me that they need to be more involved in the show. I think it was in the beginning of the show where they came to the ring, but they left the ring and someone was getting beat up. I can't remember who, but Ali's like, let's not go in. And then Mansoor goes and tries to make the save, which I think is just so interesting. I feel like it's needed in this tag team division, but obviously it's not ideal for what the champions are right now because it doesn't really make much sense. But down the road, I feel like they definitely should get a shot when RK Bros thing is over and done, and we get new champs, which I don't see happening for a while at least. But that's just
I agree with Cody. I like that Ali is acting as a veteran to Mansoor, some mentorship. I talked about this with Sting and Darby. I feel like mentorships and pro wrestling do work. This should work. Not should work. They should be more implemented more. You can have that with managers. I'm sorry, I don't know why. Managers. It should be with managers, but a lot of managers are just the the mouthpiece for wrestlers. But I like that. With Sting doesn't talk for Darby. Darby talks for himself, and I feel like I like that. I like that a lot, and I'm very intrigued of. I call it a geopet earlier. This geopet is very interesting, and I hope it grows lots of grass.
Yeah. So after that, we get the entrance of AJ Styles and Hamas. And again, so now we finally have 2 of the teams that are the credible teams to win this thing. But now the problem is the New Day's been out there for 5 matches. So now we still know who's going to win this because they're dead tired. So we know that AJ Styles and Hamas are going to win this. So now there's still not really a reason to watch this, except I was thinking, okay, they're going to have Hamas. They're going to get Hamas over, and he's going to clean house in 30 seconds. But no. I'm pretty sure this match this part went over 5 minutes. This would have been which I'm not going to complain about New Day in the ring because they're good in the ring. I don't like their promos or their gimmick, but I can watch their matches because they have good matches. But this is one where you just should have squashed them. They've had 5 matches. Amos is somebody you're pushing. Have AJ start the match, get in a little bit of trouble. Tag Amos and have him clean house and pin them flat. That was my big thing. Obviously the right team won this part, but I think it went way too long given how much punishment the New Day had taken. And then Amos didn't even get the pin. AJ got the pin. This was the perfect time to put over Amos, and they missed it. What do you guys think?
I didn't really to think too much about it. It does, because I the New Day is I feel like I almost feel like that Bobby Lashley MVP, who ended up winning the match, spoiler, would have benefited more beating the New Day because the New Day are the greatest tag team of all time.
Plus, they have a lot of history.
And so I don't know. You knew if the New Day made it to the next round, you probably knew they were going to lose, but I feel like it's more reasonable that the New Day might win over Omos and AJ because they just literally lost the tag team championship. So I don't know. I would have liked to see the New Day instead of Omos and AJ, but I can't complain because
we gotta remember that in the universe, the WWE universe, or the realm, whatever you want to call it, Omos and AJ were just tag team champions, so them losing right away, having such a fall, would be a little, what the hell? Yeah. So I get them winning. The thing with New Day is, I don't think they know what they want to do with them. they just stick him in there. They know they're gonna have a good decent segment, a segment that gets the crowd excited. It's good to have them on TV every week.
They're smart. WWE's smart enough to know that New Day needs to be on TV every week, but they need to actually have some direction.
They don't exactly. They put them on TV like they should. They just don't know what the hell they should do with them on TV.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm getting down the stretch here. So then obviously the last team left is Lashley and MVP to come out and fight Hamas and AJ. I was actually kind of excited for this because the only reason you do this is for some interplay between Hamas and Lashley, and we get that right off the bat. Except, Dom, I'm glad you said a couple weeks ago that you're coming around on the fact that Hamas can't wrestle. So I didn't have to grill you about it here because Hamas almost killed Lashley. You guys remember when he went for that delayed vertical suplex on Lashley?
Honestly, I probably fell asleep by then.
Almost. Hamas. So first of all, they have a test of strength, like an old school test of strength, and I popped for that. I thought that was really cool. And then Lashley gets a little flurry and then sets up to vertical suplex Hamas. Hamas blocks, hoists Lashley up for the vertical suplex, and he's holding him there a little bit so he can get the momentum going. Like, yeah, look at me holding up this beast, and then he fucking lost him. He almost killed him because Lashley's momentum started going a little bit forward, and Hamas wasn't strong enough to hoist him back over, so he had to just awkwardly slam him down. It turned into, I guess, a front suplex, but it was bad. So Hamas, again, just cannot wrestle. But yeah, this match didn't go too long. Hamas got a little bit over because he did dump Lashley to the back, not to the back, to ringside, and then AJ gets involved. Lashley gets thrown back in the ring. AJ goes for the throw on the forearm, misses, spear, 1, 2, 3. My only thing, and I don't know if you guys caught this, I made sure I watched this back like 7, 8 times just to make sure that I saw what I thought I saw. You guys go back and watch. I'm telling you, AJ was not the legal man.
I don't watch them back.
like I said, I fell asleep by then.
So Hamas was legal. He boots Lashley out, and so you guys know that whenever there's a tag, the ref goes like this and yells tag. You always hear that. So there is like a couple seconds where you don't see what's going on in the ring. You see Lashley because he gets into a face-to-face with Randy. So you could say the tag was made there, but the ref didn't. You didn't hear the ref call for it. And then you see AJ kind of. The next time you see them, you see AJ. He hits Hamas, but he does the whole like hits him on the chest, call it let's go thing. You could say that's the tag, but then you look at the ref. The ref wasn't looking at them, didn't call the tag. So my only thing is, and I'm surprised because AJ Styles is way too smart for this as far as laying out a match. But I don't think AJ was the legal man here. So I think that was really sloppy. Unless they come out on Raw next week and make that an angle, I think that was a very, very sloppy finish. But
I doubt that because they probably would have said something during. They would have been like, "Oh, I didn't legal like during the."
The commentary team would have known to say something.
But yeah, so I think the right team won here, Lashley and MVP. I'm excited for the program with RK Bro, whether it's the just Lashley Randy or the tag teams. I'm excited for it. So again, it wasn't my favorite Raw, but I liked what we got coming out of it.
The match was fine, and it wasn't like nothing crazy. I just don't like the ending of Raw where Bobby Lashley in the second week of the row is laying flat on the ground to end the show.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say, if the triple threat match from last week wasn't as good, this would have been a better Raw. But I think I like last week's Raw because of that match much better.
I agree with Cody. This was because after the match, Lashley went to get some heat on Matt Riddle. I think it was on Matt Riddle. He hit on somebody.
Yeah, he's Matt Riddle.
Yeah, but then Randy lays him out with an RKO, and that's how they end the show. Exactly how they end. I don't think it's bad enough that you leave Lashley laying to end the show one time, but twice in a row, I think they're really making Lashley. I don't think they realize that they're going to make Lashley look pretty cheap when they do that.
True. All right. Anything else before we?
I got nothing. All I'm gonna say is this Raw was more than usual. I think this Raw was for me a headache to watch. It was hard.
That says a
lot. There was more wrestling, but there was more wrestling between people I didn't really care to see.
So that's the interesting thing, though, because we complained when we first started this. We were like, "Oh, we need more wrestling on Raw, right?" And now we're getting that, and they're just fucking it up.
Yeah. Like I said at the beginning, tag team turmoil is great because it guarantees we're going to see more wrestling, but you can't capitalize on that unless you have a deep roster full of people that are not only credible but people care about. And out of these 8 teams, there were 5 no one cares about.
And the ones that did do are good wrestling tag teams that just didn't get the minutes. Like War Raiders, I'm gonna call them that. I don't care about the Viking experience. They didn't get enough time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just sad to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that was Monday Night Raw from this past Monday, September 6th. Moving right along, we're now going to get into it just ended less than an hour ago, AEW Dynamite.
1 second.
Yep, take your time there. But let's keep pitching a little bit. AEW Dynamite from Wednesday, September 8th, a.k.a. today. So, they didn't have a very tough act to follow with Raw, but boy, they made it close in quality. Because this was not, I think, not a... And again, I talk a lot of shit about Dynamite, but I will be the first to admit that I enjoy watching Dynamite a lot more than Raw. This was close. This was a bad episode of Dynamite. What did you guys think of this?
I was excited because of All Out, and it was a good show, and I think they could have capitalized much better. And I think they really should have been tonight. To be honest, I honestly I can't tell you one real segment or match that I really enjoyed.
As the this podcast, this networks, this whatever you want to call it, WrestlePoint's AEW Stan. Honestly, I expect this is something similar what I remember from the first SmackDown after SummerSlam, but not as good. I feel like that one was good. I feel like it's always weird shows like coming off of a big pay-per-view because they want to create new storylines. I think they did that tonight. Did they do it in a smart, clever way? Mostly not, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But you know, like sometimes the beginning might suck, like. But I believe it will go better. Yeah, but I'm happy that...
I think the biggest reason I thought this was bad is that it should have been great. After the way they ended the pay-per-view, this should have been a really good episode of Dynamite because of the people that we were expecting to see. And we'll get into it, but the segments that those people were in even wound up being bad. And that was the big thing I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
I didn't get
it. It was fine. It was watchable. Good thing about it is if you have a bad Dynamite, at least it's only 2 hours. It's not 3.
That's true. So yeah, getting right into the show, we open up with this match was announced during All Out, but it opened the show Dustin Rhodes versus Malachi Black. And here's the first thing. Here's the first problem is the way Malachi Black's been booked, and the way Dustin Rhodes. So I don't think we've seen Dustin Rhodes on AEW in a while, but when he was there, he was pretty much enhancement talent. Because Dustin Rhodes is a very good wrestler. I really like him.
Yes.
And he's been more used to get people over, but he's won a couple matches against heels when he needs to win, but he's more there to get people over. So this should have been a really quick showcase for Malachi Black. And it wasn't. This was the first competitive match that Malachi Black has had. This match went over 10 minutes. And I think, we're getting Malachi versus Cody at Arthur Ashe. I'm not as excited about it now because that should have been Malachi's first competitive match. Dustin Rhodes, as good as he is, he's so far past his prime. This should not have been Malachi Black's first competitive match. This just, with a lot of AEW match in general, this match went way too long.
I agree with that. I'll go ahead. Dustin Rhodes, when I think of Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, whatever, the natural, I think that's what it's called in WCW. I don't remember, don't quote me.
Yeah,
I think of one of the all-time underrated pro wrestlers in this industry. But like Eric said, he shouldn't be getting that many minutes. Malachi Black should have squashed. I'm happy that Cody and Malachi will go to compete at Arthur Ashe because I was afraid that feud will all the way span to Full Gear, which is way too long. So I'm hopefully that will be the blow up for both the Cody family, Nightmare family against the Black family, the Malachi Black family, him himself. I don't know. Hopefully that will be the blow off. Other than that, I'm just trying to think how many weeks away is the Arthur Ashe show? Like 2 weeks? 1 week?
Two exactly.
So in 2 weeks we'll have it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Malachi will have another match. Who would he have it with?
I don't think he'll have one. It'll probably be like a promo segment.
Yeah, but other than that, I am actually looking forward to Cody and Malachi Black. Cody, he might be down our throats when he's on TV a lot, but he is actually a pretty good wrestler. So I'm excited to see that.
Malachi Black should not be struggling to beat fucking Goldust. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a great wrestler, but I mean, like, the only cool thing I like the boot thing that he brought his boot out. The thing that would have been cool if Malachi Black took his boot off, put Cody Rhodes' boot on, and gave the black mask to Dustin Rhodes. That's the second thing I would change about the match, other than it being way too long. But other than that,
yeah. So before we get into the next segment, I wanted to ask you guys about the upcoming Malachi Black and Cody match. Is there a chance in hell that Cody's ego is so big that he puts himself over in this match?
Of course. Yeah.
I think, but here's the thing. He's done that, obviously. He did that with Brody Lee. He did that with Anthony Ogogo, where he put himself over despite the fact that it made no sense. But here's the thing. It's to a point now where even AEW fans are kind of sick of Cody putting himself over. If he beats Malachi Black, it's going to be bad. I think that, like, Cody's going to get booed out of the building, I'm sure, if he beats Malachi Black. So I'm hoping Cody comes to his senses and does the job. But this the run that Malachi Black's on feels a lot like Brody Lee's with the TNT Championship. He squashed Cody, then for a couple months squashed a lot of other people, and then Cody came back and won.
Well, I hope they're going to have
I'm worried that that's where this is trending.
Well, if that's the case, they're going to have a good blow-off match, because Cody versus Brody Lee with the Dark Chain color match was really fucking good. So
it was good, but Cody shouldn't have won that match.
I know, I agree.
Yeah, and he should not win this match. I hope he's sensible enough to know that he has to do the job. I just wouldn't be surprised if he puts himself over again. But anyway, the next segment, we had CM Punk come to the ring to cut a promo, and this is always CM Punk cutting a promo. You can never go wrong. And this was another. I really thought this was a great promo because the first words out of his mouth were putting over Darby, and he spent the first few minutes of this segment of this promo was just putting over AEW. He puts over Darby. He put over various matches on the pay-per-view. He put over the Pillman family because what was her name? Aunt Lily or something? I forget. But the Pillman family is in the front row. He puts over the Pillman family. This is, first of all, he push Brian Pillman Jr. already. Will you push him?
Well, we talk about it.
Yeah, but I thought this was a really good promo. He starts talking about what's next for CM Punk. He kind of lets the crowd say what they want to hear, and then Taz interrupts and says, just don't mention any of my guys' names," which he didn't. But he's like, "You don't want to see my guys," and yeah, you're right. No one really cares about Team Taz because they lose all their. I can't say they lose all their matches after what happens next, but they don't. Team Taz doesn't have much momentum, but maybe a program with Punk is just what they need. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this promo?
So let me because Dom's the CM Punk super fan. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't like it that much.
Really?
Especially like if you're gonna have Taz interrupt him, CM Punk needs to say the guys' names. It just makes no sense.
Whoa! He did.
It's like before I know he said it. I'm the one that said. That what's his Hobbs is probably next because he's been mentioning it a lot.
I said it too when we played Fall Guys last night.
First up, so calm down. So like, it seems like Taz is just the guy in school, be like, "Hey, you don't mess with my crew." Like when CM Punk is like turned around the other direction. Like if you want the story to make sense, just say, "Yeah, Hobbs," and then Taz interrupts him then. Like, I just don't think it made much sense for Taz to interrupt him when he's like, "You better not say any of my guys."
I disagree.
They were trying to reference the interviews that Punk did when he was saying who he wants to work with, but they did a really clunky job of trying to like shoehorn.
Yeah, but
not even the interviews. He said it in his first opening promo on AEW. He did. I remember. You can fact check that. He did.
Wow. He said Hobbs' name.
Yes.
He did. He said Hobbs.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, Cody. Yes, he did, Cody.
Yeah,
but Taz didn't say that. Taz said he said he's heard interviews. He didn't say he did his promo. So that's what
but Taz tried to say like Tom,
this was the greatest promo of all time.
I never said that.
This was the greatest promo of all time.
Cody, you getting?
Tell me what you think.
You're getting very intrigued. You're getting hostile over here.
Because if you say one bad thing about CM Punk, it's like God.
No, I'm
forbid
just
you.
saying. You were just saying he didn't even mention him,
What'd you think
and
of
he
the
did.
promo?
That's all I'm saying.
What do you
It
think of
was
the promo?
it was fine. I love Taz and CM Punk, so I'm happy, very
Of course
happy.
you are. Of course
I
you
love,
are. Even
still,
the
Taz
promo
is my favorite commentator in the business right now. So
Yeah, I do have to say this
In the
was a very
business?
this was a very
Yes, I enjoy him a lot.
You
I will
like him more
say-
than McAfee.
McAfee's great, but Taz
Oh my
is,
God, that's a
Taz
bad
is,
take. That's a hot take. Put the hot take. McAfee is 12 times
Yeah,
better than Taz.
okay. No.
Anyway.
This is
Anyway.
what I'm saying. No. I didn't say better. I said my favorite. There's a difference.
Oh, you have bad taste.
Okay, whatever.
I will say it was refreshing having a commentary team without Excalibur, because he does kind of he says some good
fine.
things. He says some good things, but he's just not very experienced yet on big time, and you can tell it.
Yeah, but I think he's
I
getting better.
honestly, I like
He's not bad.
I like him. I would rather JR go somewhere.
I like.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
prefer him over JR.
he's definitely gotten a lot better. I'll give him that. But yeah, anyway, so moving right along, so we go to break. We come back and we have a match: Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin.
Wait. Did you miss the Soho?
Oh yeah, that's right. We come back from break and there's a backstage interview with Ruby Soho, and they get talking about she apparently issued an open challenge, which Jamie Hayter accepted, and she's like, I want to prove that the battle royal wasn't a fluke. She gets interrupted with Britt Baker, and I'll be honest, Britt Baker, she's a great heel promo. This wasn't her best work.
I loved it.
She of course he did, but she flummoxed and this isn't necessarily an indictment on her as much as it is kind of the business in general. She said she at one point claimed that when they fight, she's going to reclaim her championship title, and calling it a championship title is one of my huge pet peeves, because a championship is a title. It's like calling a basketball. It's like if I were playing basketball and I said I'm going to go score in the hoop basket. It's two words that mean the same thing to me. So but that's just the jargon of the business.
I get that.
And then there was another point. These are small things. I'm really nitpicking with her, and then another point. She's like, I need to go rest for my match it all out, even though the match
She did say that. She did say that. I caught that.
I'm sure she definitely meant to say from, but she said for. But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't her best work. It wasn't her best work, not because of her the content of what she said. It was bad. It's just it wasn't her best delivery, and also I kind of didn't really like them calling out each other's nicknames. I thought was a little silly, but yeah, it was a promo segment to hype up that feud and also the upcoming Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter match.
Maybe it really wasn't that good, but I just remember liking it.
Well, like the thing I get from Britt Baker's promos is interviews backstage. They just need a reason for her to say DMD.
It's great though, and it gets it over. It's over. So
every catchphrases like that always get over.
Exactly. So we can go back to The Rock. We can go back to Austin. Catchphrases are just part of the thing.
Did you just compare Britt Baker to The Rock and Austin?
No, that was just an example. That was example of catchphrases.
No, but I get it. It feels like sometimes she's getting shoved down our throats, and it's just
she's a woman's.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but there's a segment. There was a match, anyways, where she was going to be out there regardless.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, she is kind of the only good thing about the women's division. So you do kind of need to put her out there a little bit more.
Well,
but I do.
Wait. Thunder Rosa is there too, though.
But she doesn't have a program right now. Those what.
But you're saying the only good thing. I'm just saying that.
That's going on.
She is technically because Thunder Rosa is not really on TV that much.
Yeah,
she got beat up last week.
I didn't mean in general on the roster. I meant of what's happening in the women's division right now, because Thunder Rosa doesn't really have a program at the moment. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, we get to the match: Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin. And here's the thing: so, I don't know how much of Dante Martin have you got? He does a lot of work on YouTube. But have you guys seen much of him?
I've never seen.
No, I've seen one or two matches on Dark, but not that nothing distinctly. Yeah.
This guy, let me tell you right now, both these guys. If AEW is smart enough to realize what they have in these two guys, in a few years, this could be a pay-per-view main event. These guys, they're both really green. I'm going to start with saying they're both extremely green, but they are so – Powerhouse Hobbs, obviously, we know Powerhouse Hobbs is budding with potential and talent. Dante Martin's scary talented. That dude is insanely athletic. I think he's only 19 years old or 20 years old. He's really young, and he is just one of the – I really like him. He's obviously not ready for big main event programs yet, but with work, with a little bit of polish, both these guys are future stars, and I hope AEW capitalizes on that. This match, though, I was excited for it, but then I remembered these guys aren't very good yet. They're talented, but they're they both need somebody to lead them in a match to have a good match. They can't, and obviously in this match they only had each other, so this match wasn't that great. Hobbs got the win like he needed to, even though Dante Martin's a future star. He hasn't been presented as any sort of credible threat. And after the Punk and Taz back and forth, Hobbs just needed to pick up this win. He's got a beautiful spine buster. That's one of my favorite spine busters in the business for Powerhouse Hobbs. It's great. But yeah, so not a great match, but two guys that I really like.
Cody, go ahead.
Did you catch where he hit the spine buster and they called it a powerbomb?
Did I what?
When he gave that spine buster, JR said, "Oh, what a powerbomb!"
Oh yeah.
that was terrible.
Two announcers called it a powerbomb.
That was bad.
Aye.
So I'll go because I'm not familiar with these people. Like, I've seen 2 Hobbs matches so far, and I haven't been impressed really, if I'm being honest. I don't know what it is about Hobbs. It's either he's like just not comfortable, or it seems like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he fits his character. I mean, I guess
he was actually pretty good at babyface when he started feuding with FTR, to be honest.
But like I need to get more like acclimated with his style and stuff like that. But like I read about this match because it was like announced on Twitter, and like people were like hyping it up like it was going to be an amazing match. And I get like Dante did a couple cool things, but I feel like the match ended suddenly. I didn't expect that to be the finish. It like ended like without really it was surprised the way it ended. So I don't know.
I think both are just oozing with potential, but not experience. And I feel like that was lacking.
They're talented, but they're great.
Yeah, it was great. We can move on.
Yeah, so then after the match, Dan Lambert cuts a promo with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page by his side. And so I'm going to say this, and this is another pet peeve of mine. He cuts the promo from like the top of the upper deck. Where did he get a microphone from? Are they just kind of like, do they just have microphones laying around in the concourse?
Just ask for one. Like, hey, fetch me a.
I don't really see like.
Yeah, it's not a big pet peeve.
I think it's a huge pet peeve.
I think this guy, Dan Lambert, sucks.
I don't like him.
He might be the most pointless person in all AEW.
Yeah, so he cuts a promo pretty much saying, I don't remember exactly, something to the effect of
something about little guys.
We're gonna prove that you guys aren't as good as you think. So anyone that thinks they can beat these two guys that always lose their matches, feel free to come up and beat us, because let's be real, whoever challenges them is gonna beat them. So it was pretty pointless. But yeah, we can move right.
I'm getting he's gonna get go away heat for me, Dan Lambert. I don't want to talk about him.
Yeah. So anyway. So then we get the MJF promo segment, and I was nervous. I said in my notes, MJF interview. Let's see how good this guy is, because obviously we had our arguments about the booking. I still think his credibility took a shot, but in true MJF fashion, cuts a fantastic promo. Here was the problem. Here was my big problem though for the first couple minutes. Was not only could I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt with me, because I was kind of predisposed. I predisposed myself to not take him very seriously at the start of this. But it seemed like at first, for the first couple minutes, he wasn't getting the same reaction he was still getting booed, but he wasn't getting booed quite as loudly as I'm used to hearing him get booed. So I was like, yeah, so his credibility has been shot a little bit, but he got a lot of it back with what he was saying. I think him blasting the Pillman family, I think was brilliant. Everything he said was real. That like the Pillman family is very infamous, especially after that Dark Side of the Ring episode. And I didn't realize Brian Pillman Jr. was also a hometown guy from Cincinnati. So that gets him heat just with that building. So I thought this was fantastic. And then Brian Pillman Jr. comes out, and now I'm excited because I've been saying push Brian Pillman Jr. But then at the same time, MJF can't lose another match, so I think he's gonna beat him dirty, but he's gonna beat Brian Pillman Jr. So but anyway, I'm glad to see Brian Pillman Jr. getting some time. He cuts a promo, a nice little promo. MJF asks the $1 million question. You really want to get in a promo battle with me? Calls his birth mom Methany. Fucking brilliant. Then they get in a little pull apart. Then Griff Garrison comes in. I don't care about Griff Garrison. Now, all that means is we're probably not going to get a one-on-one match. We're probably going to get it was confirmed. Never mind. I was just saying we're probably going to get a tag match.
No, I don't think it was confirmed, but it was.
I thought it was confirmed, but
he asked Tony Khan for the match. I don't think
it's implied.
Obviously, fantastic promo in my opinion. My only thing is I do think his credibility was shot in that now he's feuding with undercard jobbers. The Varsity Blondes never win matches, and these are now who he's feuding with. I think it didn't hurt him as much because he can dig himself out of the hole, but no one can deny that losing to Jericho did kill his momentum. That's why he is feuding with people that get on TV once a month.
Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, it was a pretty good promo. Yeah, I can't really complain about it. The only thing I have to say, what's his name? Griff Garrison?
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like such a pussy after he got hit with that ring. Even after, he was like, it looked like he was crying when he had the ice on his eye. Like, dude, it's a ring. Like, I know you need to sell, but like that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
MJF is so fucking good, man. It's ridiculous. This is a promo I probably can watch. I'm gonna watch when I put it on YouTube a bunch of times. I'm really happy that he is in another feud. He's done with Jericho. I'm really unhappy about the ending of the match. That Chris Jericho won. Why you guys give me that face?
No,
I'm not giving you a face.
Okay. But you said you lost his momentum a bit. I think he gained it right back. It seemed like
going from Chris Jericho to Brian Pillman Jr. is without a doubt a huge downstep.
I agree with that, but then again, where is he gonna go from there? Like he has to, in a sense, he lost, so he has to elevate himself again. So I can see the momentum shift, right? But then again, we're happy. Brian Pillman Jr. He's a hometown guy. A lot of people wanted to see him. You're not the only person who'll be like, oh, let's have more of him on TV. You know, they think of it too. So people are going to automatically shift their eyes to, hey, I'm excited to see the MJF Brian Pillman segment next week. So, and then contrary to last week, were you really excited to see Chris Jericho MJF segment? Like for me personally speaking, I'm more excited to see this feud than the Jericho feud. So maybe there's a momentum lost, but there's also momentum gained and
he'll build it back. He did a great job. Yeah, he did a great job of building a lot of it back with his promo today. But what I'm saying is they didn't need to set him back. Was my big point. He would have benefited more from just.
I think they just needed like a way out, like an easy way out, which not overbooking it of Jericho wanting to wrestle again, like in AEW, because that's what he wanted.
They had it.
And I agree.
Don't restart the match, and you got.
And I don't restart the match and don't have the stipulation, but it is what it is. I just wanted to say one thing. I don't know if you're gonna get into. Are you gonna get into the what happened when the altercation with Wardlow?
No.
Okay, then I'll talk about it real quick. With the Wardlow thing, it's really interesting. They've been teasing a feud for a while now. I really like Wardlow. I think he's a great big guy. Him and Hobbs makes me think what is Vince McMahon or WWE thinking? Like they obviously want guys like this. They want somebody like Wardlow. They want somebody like Power Hobbs. Like, is it fair to say they have the better, younger, big guys compared to the NXT counterparts?
I think so.
And that's impressive. And I'll leave it at that. Okay, you can move on now.
I thought. I'll leave it at that.
No, I literally have nothing to say.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay. Yeah. So after that, we get a really quick, and Oh wait, never mind. So after this, we get the match: Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho. Oh my gosh, this was so dumb. This was such a poorly booked match. So Ruby Soho just won the #1 contendership, right? She's going against somebody other than the champion, right? She should win this match very fast, very convincingly, so she looks like a credible title contender, right? So why'd she get her ass kicked for 75% of this match? She was bumping all over the place. She did not come out of this looking better to me at all. This
The
was
reason
completely.
I'll defend this.
She got the win. I'm just gonna breeze through my part really quick. Then you can. But yeah, so I think she bumped way too much. I don't think even though she won, I don't think she looks credible. She should have won this way faster to me. And then the afterbirth was really stupid. Riho came out because they obviously didn't actually beat her down, Ruby. And then Riho comes out to make the save, who we haven't seen on TV for months and no one cares about. And then also, as soon as Riho came out, you knew that a third person had to come out so that we get the 6-woman tag next week. It was Chris Statlander. So now we get the tag. We get a 6-person tag that I'm honestly probably not going to watch next week. So yeah, I could have gone without this entire segment, to be honest.
Okay, the only thing I'll defend with Jamie Hayter beating up Ruby Soho talked about her being like a fluke winner. So maybe they turned into that hey, maybe she is a fluke winner, maybe they are trying to prove that. That's why Jamie.
But that's the opposite of what they should have done. She's challenging for the title.
Well, sometimes you have to prove.
Like, it's so obvious that Britt Baker's gonna win, so it's like.
Yeah, like it's just like, hey, it's a fluke hero. Like, you're only important. I feel like they are trying to play into something other than stereotypical.
The only thing I have to say about this match is that Ruby oversells so much.
Yeah,
like that after the match attack, she acted like she got her whole spleen taken out.
But with Soho, I feel like you obviously want to take in, or you would think that hey, people think I'm a fluke. I'm proving them wrong. Something like Nikki Ash did. That's something recently we saw. Maybe we see the other coin of it, and I feel like that's pretty interesting. Ruby Soho. I mean, a lot of people. It's exciting to see her in AEW, but is there really that much excitement of her? She's such a good wrestler. Nothing against Ruby Soho, but I think she's still not even top 5 in the AEW. Women's roster in terms of in-ring talent. So
yeah. Anyway, so do we have anything else to say about this segment at all?
No.
Jamie Hayter's awesome.
Okay, so I definitely didn't give you a banner for this, Dom. So I'm literally going to spend 5 seconds on it. We had a quick package on Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. That feud that no one cares about is still going on. Then we go to break and we get the 6-man tag, FTR and Shawn Spears versus the Dark Order. I'm disappointed. I'm glad. So obviously FTR and Shawn Spears, they win the match. But what I'm disappointed in is this match wasn't about them. This match was about highlighting the dissension in the Dark Order, a faction that nobody cares about at all. But that's what this match was about. They have a backstage video where they're talking about getting back on the same page, but then they start arguing. At the beginning of the match, they keep tagging each other in despite and getting mad at each other. It ends with John Silver hitting Evil Uno, taking the pin, and they fight. This wasn't about FTR and Shawn Spears. This was about highlighting a faction that nobody cares about. Heading to Splitsville, even though they won't. What I'm hoping this is they're going to continue the dissension for a little bit and then they bring Bray Wyatt in as the new leader. It's a long shot. You can put the hot take if you want, but I'm not necessarily.
I have a good leader for you.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily making a prediction. I'm just saying this is what I hope it is because there's no other reason to be featuring Dark Order like this. No one cares about them. I don't think anyone's really ever cared about them. So
I'll say this with the leader thing. I 100% agree. Let's look at the history of Dark Order in AEW. The minute they debuted with no leader, did anybody care about them? No. Nope. When Mr. Brody Lee came, people cared about him. Now he's gone. The Hangman stuff isn't there. The Hangman stuff was mildly interesting because it's Hangman, not because of the segment itself.
Yeah.
They need a leader. Hopefully you're right. Hopefully Bray Wyatt will be there and step in right there. It'd be interesting to see a Firefly House version, like a cartoony version of him. Not exactly like a ripoff, but something like that, like a overexcited boss. If you watch the TV show Supermart, they have a very excited boss. I feel like something like Superstore. My bad. You're right. Correct. It's a good show. I haven't watched it in a year.
So I have only two things on this match, and then we're gonna move on because we're almost at an hour and a half.
Understood, sir.
One, that short guy in Dark Order with the beard.
John Silvers? He's awesome.
I hate him. I don't know why I hate him.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
I hate him.
Hot take.
And then second, perfect leader for the Dark Order would be Malachi Black. Move on.
Oh,
Cool. Yeah. So then, okay, so we get two really quick
This is
interviews back to
terrible.
back. I'm gonna spend 30 seconds going over these next two segments. They're really
30
quick.
seconds is way too long.
Yeah, I'll probably less. Tully Blanchard cuts a promo teasing some sort of Pinnacle CM Punk and Sting feud, and then teases a potential Tully Blanchard Sting match. For not for a quality match, for fan service. That happened. I would like to see Tully back in the ring. I guess that would be kind of cool. Then we move on. Brian Pillman Jr. backstage interview to say this is where I think the match with MJF got confirmed, but I don't know if it was confirmed, but he said like I'm going to talk to Tony. He might say I'm going to talk to Tony Khan about getting a match with you.
Tony Khan.
But then the acclaimed come in. Max Caster says, "Well, I have a few Rampage," and that's that. Then we move on to the promo segment with the Elite. So here's something. So you guys know Tony Schiavone, whenever MJF is mentioned, talks about how much he hates MJF and how despicable he is? So why does he shit on MJF but give a full-throated endorsement to the Elite as being so great and amazing? Because they're both heels. Isn't he the babyface announcer? Can't he be a little more uniform?
no clue.
I think that's a little bit of that to me that just screams the executive vice president's definitely told him make sure you put us over because he's the babyface announcer. He shouldn't be talking up heels like that. But anyway, Elite comes in. They introduce Adam Cole. Adam Cole, I think, cuts a pretty good promo. Not even pretty good. A good promo. Legitimately a good promo putting over the Elite. Talks about as much as I say it's comical to say the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time and Kenny is the greatest wrestler in the world. His characters should do that because he's their friends. He's in that faction. So he needs to say those things. So I thought that was good. And then Kenny starts talking, saying how he hates being interrupted. And then Bryan Danielson interrupts. Cuts a really short promo saying, I think what you're scared of is that you're not on my level. And then it gets really stupid. And then there's a beatdown. And as soon as the beatdown started, before anything else happened, in my head I said, how long until Jurassic Express comes out to make the save? 5 seconds later, Jurassic Express comes out to make the save. And here's something. You can put the hot take if you want. I'm sick of Jurassic Express.
Okay, that's a hot take. Well,
They-
actually,
I feel the same way, and I've only watched them for like
here's-
3 weeks.
okay, not a hot take. Then.
Here's why. Not because the people aren't talented. Obviously, Jungle Boy's really talented. Luchasaurus is pretty good himself, but they do the same thing all the time. They no matter what association they don't have in the conflict, they have nothing to do with the Elite and Bryan Danielson at all. But they always are the guys that make the save. They're always the guys that come in, make saves, then have a big 10-man tag match. Then Jungle Boy will have a singles match. Then they'll get a title match and lose. I'm sick of seeing them. It's the same thing every time. I could go a month without seeing these guys the way
Okay.
used.
Let me hold you right there.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
2 points. I understand that you don't like the booking because I understand, they get involved with multi-man feuds. They end up losing a lot of times, with the blow off. With the story of like, why is he with Daniel? Daniel was there to do the save. They have a history with the Young Bucks because of that the tournament, what's it called, the tag team tournament thing. So
They
I'll
didn't
say
even
that.
They didn't even fight in the tag team tournament though.
Yes, it did.
They didn't have a match. They just took turns saving. They just took them and the
The
Lucha Brothers
Jungle.
took turns
No, I'm
saving each
talking
other.
about Jurassic Express.
Yeah, the tag team tournament that just
They had a
happened.
match. They
They didn't
had
have
a
a
match.
match.
Yeah, they
The
did.
Young Bucks and Jurassic Express
They
did?
lost.
No. I'm talking about them, the Jurassic Express themselves, because the Young Bucks were obviously involved in that because the winner of that was going to face them on All Out.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're in a feud though. That just means they're in a tournament where they might face them. And even in that tournament, all they did was them, the
We
Lucha Brothers.
kind of put him in the feud after attacking them, sitting on the ring post. So
I think it's just a waste, honestly. I thought this segment kind of sucked. I'm going to be honest. I think Adam Cole completely is not used to his theme song because I'm pretty sure he missed the boom. I think he missed it completely. So it kind of looks weird after the boom came in. Then he did that. But I love Brian Danielson, whatever you want to say. But this promo just wasn't it for me. It didn't hit. Hopefully they have something better next week, which it's like, yeah, I get it. This is the problem with the Elite. The Elite is so big that one person can't just be there and like have a promo battle because like everybody else is going to step in. I would hope that the good leaders find the nearest cliff and
oh my God, stop.
but other than that, yeah, this promo sucked. Main event time.
Yep.
Okay.
It's, the main event. It's Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki, and I said the same thing about Jon Moxley's match at All Out against Kojima. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say it again. There were no implications here. The winner was obvious. I was never going to be into this match, so I think they started with like 12 minutes left in the show. I said I'm going to give them 4 minutes to get my attention. They didn't, so I stopped watching. I know Jon Moxley won, but I don't know how. But yeah.
Dom, you can finish out.
Yeah.
I'll start. This match was boring. I was not invested from the jump. The best part of this was Wild Thing, and JR would not stop talking over it. And has to agree. So, like, I just wasn't interested. I think this is more of a fan service match that Moxley's going to win, and he's going to go into the crowd for the last 3 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, with the fan service. I looked it up because I wasn't sure when we did our post review with Minoru Suzuki. They did face against each other, wasn't it, a G1? Minoru Suzuki isn't also in the G1. I wasn't able to watch a lot of this match, probably with our schedule. Like, we go right after AEW Dynamite finishes, so a lot of times when I set up, I don't have the chance to watch the main event. But from what I saw, this is a typical G1 match. Like, if you watch G1, Eric, you watched a couple matches. This is a match I expect on a G1, like maybe the first match. Nothing special. They just get their stuff in. Minoru Suzuki is more better with like stiff work, and I don't know if Jon Moxley did this tonight. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between stiff work and like hard hitting. You know what I mean? Like, hard hitting, it feels like the big boom. Stiff work just looks like it hurts, and it actually hurts. So it didn't mesh well. It was already seen. It was exciting for like the US audience, who was like, oh, they don't care to watch New Japan. They don't care to go back and watch wrestling New Japan. I know it's hard for US to get into New Japan because of them. They're trying. New Japan is trying, but it's still a big road ahead. And this was fine. I'm intrigued to see if New Japan sends another talent over, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
I just want Jon Moxley to get some direction. He has no direction right now, just fighting random 50-year-old New Japan guys. I want him to actually do something, but I don't know. That's just kind of I've been saying that a lot about Jon Moxley. I want him to actually do something because it's Minoru Suzuki. Before that, it was Kojima. He hasn't done anything of substance that I think shoots him up the AEW ranks in a long time. And that's one of your top stars that was just preposterously voted sixth best wrestler in the world. Do something with the guy as a single.
Well, do you guys want to get into that before we head out?
No, we can do that. We can do that another time.
Okay, I want to say last thing about Jon Moxley and the stuff. I guess he's facing just Japanese wrestlers. Why is he not facing Atsushi Onita?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so Onita is basically Jon Moxley, Japanese Jon Moxley, because he actually had the Wild Thing theme song before.
That seems like that might be the worst match I've ever heard of.
Honestly,
Jon Moxley versus Jon Moxley, I'd literally not watch it.
Well, Onita is actually a decent wrestler. Anyways, but that's why I'll leave off. If you're gonna have him fight like old Japanese people, have him fight Onita at least.
Yeah. So that was our review of the first half of This Week in Wrestling. Needless to say, it was a pretty rough start this week. Thankfully, we always have higher expectations for SmackDown, and Rampage is only an hour, so it can never be
Rampage is not that bad sometimes.
Yeah,
SmackDown
it's only an hour. It's only an hour, so I'll never lose interest in Rampage because I know that if anything boring or bad would happen, I have less than an hour I need to sit through. So hopefully things pick up. I think we're all, as always, excited to watch SmackDown.
Wait, let Cody say something.
It's an MSG this week, so we'll get that. And we got Andrade and Pac coming up, so we'll have a good show to review on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right, then. With that, we are out. Goodbye. Sayonara.